Welcome to another edition of the Good and Plenty podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Goodman, and we're about 10 days removed from the Virginia Cavaliers winning the national title, and we got a great show for you today. We have none other the national champion, Ty Jerome. He's going to talk about what life has been like since they won it all, the most nervous he was throughout the NCAA tournament, his decision to leave Virginia and head to the NBA. First, I want to thank our sponsor, betonline.ag. Another huge week across the NBA with playoff action. There's only one place to get in on all the action, and that's betonline.ag. Sports, casino, virtual casino, you name it. Betonline.ag is CLNS Media's preferred sportsbook online. Use promo code CLNS50 for a 50% sign-up bonus. That's CLNS50, betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts. Again, we got a great show for you. Ty Jerome, Virginia, national champion. Don't forget, subscribe to the pod, Good and Plenty. You can do that wherever you listen to your pods, iTunes, Stitcher. You can find me at Goodman Hoops on Twitter. You can also find me at watchstadium.com. Now, pleased to welcome in national champion Ty Jerome. Have you gotten used to that yet or no?
Part of me has, part of me hasn't. You know, it's literally a dream come true. You know, all the work you put in since you were a little kid, and you know, to finally achieve that, and to hear people say that, it's every time I hear it, you know, I smile still.
We're now like 10 days removed about from, it was a week ago. We're taping this on Thursday afternoon, so it's about 10 days, and I know you have not had one sip of alcohol since you won it all, correct?
Oh, correct.
Not a single sip.
Of course not.
What was it like? Go through with me. My buddy Rob Doster, somehow, I don't know how he finagled his way up into the room when you guys were celebrating the night you won it. I don't know how he got in. He must have posed as somebody else. But he said it. He said it was kind of calm and more relief while your fans were going bananas singing "We Are the Champions" in the lobby. When he got up to like players and coaches, it was kind of mellow. Is that true?
Yeah, it was. It was. You know, I think everyone just wanted to celebrate the moment with their families because, you know, most of our families were there. So we were just kind of relaxing, you know, laughing, having a good time. It was the first time, you know, we weren't laser focused and, you know, over, I guess, for the whole year, really. Because, you know, we've had this end goal in mind for a long time. So it was the first time we kind of got to take a deep breath and relax a little bit.
So explain describe what the scene was like. Was it one big room, everybody in it, everybody just kind of hanging with their families, or was it, you know, telling stories?
So,
what time were you up till that night?
That night I stayed up real late. You know, I think so. The scene was it was on the third floor, so the whole floor. Long hallway, and one side of the hallway was a players' lounge just for players. Other side of the hallway, large ballroom for families, and if you want to hang out with your family there. And there's a little room with a TV, a table, and stuff like that in between the two. And people were just kind of mingling around from the ballroom with their families to the room right outside that connected the two. And then everyone just with their families. And eventually I went up to my mom's room in that same hotel. My brother was there. My girlfriend was there. And we all just relaxed, talked, and, you know, had a good time and enjoyed it. You
didn't want to go out and party, or it was just too late at that point? I mean, Minneapolis was probably not the best. You needed New Orleans. You needed to win it in New Orleans.
Yeah, see, for me, it was more about celebrating that moment with my family. Yeah, you know, I'd rather do that than anything else.
You were the one, I expected everybody to kind of, with everything you went through for the course of the year and last year, like full-fledged waterworks. And I didn't see you, but you told me afterwards because I'd asked all you guys. And DeAndre and Kyle said they hadn't by the time they got to the podium. I didn't see you, but when you were with your family, I saw replays of it later that you did. You got emotional, which is funny because you're kind of the most even-keeled of the group on the court, and you just lost it. What was it like?
Yeah, you know, it's like you said, everything we went through last year and just all the work we put in the summer, and I've personally, I've been working for that moment, as I'm sure all my teammates have, since we were little kids watching the Final Four. I used to go to Final Fours, and then, once I saw my mom, my dad, and my brother, and they were crying, and so, I shed a few tears. Nothing crazy though.
Well, that's good. Listen, you know what? There's nothing wrong with looking human in that type of situation, right? I mean, it had to be. I assume it was like bottled up too, right? Like just kind of couldn't keep the emotions in anymore.
Yeah, I wasn't. I don't know, because I pride myself on being in the moment. So throughout the tournament, that was, even now, like looking back on it, it's just so insane to think about what we accomplished and watching the videos and stuff like that. But throughout the tournament, that was the best feeling we've had, like on our journey to the championship. Just how alive and how together we all were. That was the best time of this all. But I think when we won it, it was just like, wow. And I don't know if it was bottled up emotions, or I think my mind was still. I think there were so many different emotions going on. I didn't know what to think about. So my mind actually was still. But I think it was just like I said earlier, just all that work, and I think you finally achieve something like that is unreal.
So you get back to Charlottesville the next day. People are waiting for you at the airport, and what's it like? Describe to me from a year ago when you go to your first class or you're walking across campus that first time, what it's like compared to this year going across campus that first time.
Well, this year we can't. I can't get anywhere. I can't take 10 steps without a picture or autograph or something like that, and we all can't. So it's and that's just part of the love that Charlottesville has for our program, and how much joy we brought to the fans was one of the highlights of this whole thing. To see all these fans, all these people celebrating this, and see the fact that we could bring joy to these people, was unreal. That's one of the best feelings ever. But last year when we came back to Charlottesville, Coach Bennett said, a lot of people are watching you guys now. A lot of kids look up to you. A lot of people look up to you, and they want to see how you're going to respond to adversity. So don't put your head in the hood. Don't keep your head down. Walk with your head high, and just it's part of life. You got to embrace it. But there weren't many pictures being taken around that time.
Easier said than done, though, Ty, in terms of like when Coach is saying hold your head high. Because I remember talking to Kyle about it at ACC Media Day, and he was like, yeah, I had the hood on, and I had my head down. And, you try all you want, but it's got to be hard to fake it, no?
Oh, no, for sure. I mean, it's hard, showing up to class that day and, kids asking you what happened, or teachers asking you, wow, you're back already. Just, like, people just don't realize, I don't think, how much we work for this. So for them, it's like, oh, what happened? But, like, they don't understand, how much those comments not get to us, but just, anything to bring me back to thinking of that game, because I thought about that game all summer. So if anyone, if there were moments that I weren't thinking about the game, if I was in public, most people found a way to get my mind back to that game, honestly.
Yeah. Did you ever lose it? Was there ever a time when, and I know you were entertaining all through the NCAA tournament. I mean, I was in there when you not took a shot at Pat Forde, but just reminded Pat Forde that I forget what he wrote. Basically, Virginia basketball was a joke or something like that. Something like that. Right. And was there ever a time when you almost lost it on somebody that said something? Like Kyle told me he was getting Venmo'd for like $2 or $3 from like college kids, for money because of you lost. What was the time when you almost kind of just said screw it, like I can't keep it in anymore. I'm gonna go off on this dude.
I never did, because I'm so used to it, all the outside noise. It's good, it's bad. When you lose like that, it's gonna happen. I got Venmos, I got comments, I got DMs, and but the only thing I actually care about is whether I win or lose that game. That all that outside noise, all the Venmo requests, all that stuff, it's gonna fade, good or bad. So that stuff is not the end all be all. Nothing is really. So the only thing I really care about is winning or losing that game. So the thing for me is every time I saw that Venmo request, or every time I saw a crazy comment or someone trying to say something to me, it just brought me back to that game. and all over again. Like I said, the few times I wasn't thinking about that game, either on my phone or somebody found a way to make sure my mind was back on UMBC.
Was that almost good for you in a way, looking back? I mean, at the time, it had to have sucked because you couldn't get away from it, right? But, like, it had to be nonstop motivation that obviously worked out at the end of the day because you guys came back from it and won a national title.
Yeah, it definitely worked out for us. That loss, Coach Bennett, we watched the TED Talk, and it was about, something like that happening, and it can buy you a ticket to a place that you couldn't have possibly gone without it. And I think that's what it did for my work ethic, and my love for the game, just, my desire to win. I've always been ultra competitive, but, that just changed me in a whole new way. And just, I think, so that was definitely a beneficial piece to it.
So after the Gardner-Webb game, I remember walking down the hallway with you, and we were talking about, obviously, the first half was not pretty. Even the beginning of the second half, you guys made a little bit of a run there, but the quote was, "The pressure is real." And what was that like, that first half moment when you were like, no, not again?
Yeah, no, that definitely crossed my mind, and then I just embraced it, and instead of being scared of the moment, I said, if we're going to go out, we're going to go out our way, and that's what Coach told us, that's what we believed, and we started to buckle down, and we got it done. But like you said, that pressure is real. People who don't play college basketball, people who don't play basketball, people who don't play sports at all, they'll never understand it. They can have fun commenting about it, but they've never been in it. So if you've been in a part of it, you understand what that pressure is like.
Huge week in the NBA, playoff action. There's only one place to get in on all of it. That's betonline.ag. Sports, casino, virtual casino, you name it. BetOnline.ag is CLNS Media's preferred sports book online. Remember, use the promo code CLNS50 for a 50% sign-up bonus. You can do that online or through your mobile phone and try in-game live betting. You can participate with all the action with every single play. Again, CLNS50, 50% sign-up bonus. That's betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts. What was you had several kind of entertaining games at the end. What was the most nervous you were like that you might not win that game? Was there one spot where you were like, man, I just don't know how we're going to get out of this one?
Either Purdue or Auburn, one of those two games, because Purdue out the line, we're down 3. I'm shooting 2 free throws, and then you guys all saw what happened after that, and then Auburn were down 5, I think, with like 16 seconds, and I don't know, and then, you guys saw what Kyle did, so it's just those two games were just unbelievable, unbelievable comebacks, especially the last 30 seconds of the game. I didn't know how we were going to get out of those two games, so just testament to our coaching staff and testament to our whole team is how we played till that final buzzer sounds.
That Purdue play was seriously insane, Ty. Like one of the most insane plays. Like, there are certain – I've covered college basketball for a long time. Like, of all the plays, of all the – like I always remember like the Derrick Rose and Mario Chalmers play. Like that's right. One that's going to always stick. That play, I think, might be number one just because of how it had to go down perfectly in three different things, facets to it. It had to go down absolutely perfect, and it did. Like, Kihei's pass had to, gets the ball, and the pass had to be, like, spot on exactly where he threw it to Mamadi, didn't it? I mean, like, you couldn't have drawn it up better.
You couldn't have. Yeah, that was unbelievable.
Have you watched, like, all those plays? Have you sat down, or did you watch them even throughout the tournament, or did you wait till the end and have you taken a look at all of them? I know you've probably seen in highlights just on ESPN or wherever.
Yeah, I've seen highlights and stuff. I mean, after the Purdue play, you couldn't have possibly not seen it.
Yeah.
I think it was everywhere you looked. Guys, people were sending it to me, so it was everywhere. I watched highlights and stuff. Of course, I watched the shot that Dre hit to send it to overtime in Texas Tech National Championship game. But the only game I didn't watch right after was the Auburn game because my mind immediately focused to Texas Tech. So I didn't really spend time thinking about that Auburn game much at all.
I asked you guys probably at the Final Four. I think I asked you probably your teammates too, if you felt like it was fate to get there. And you were all like, nah, it's hard work. It's hard work. And I get all that. Obviously, it was hard work. Now, do you feel any differently with again, the close calls you had even in the Final Four and the fact that you were able to pull out all these close games, that there was some fate involved, or are you still kind of steadfast on, I don't really buy into that part of it?
I mean, you have to be extremely thankful because, if that ball bounces a different way, or if, if they don't call a foul, or if they call double dribble, or, all those different variables. So you have to be extremely thankful that all those things went our way. But I don't think anybody was talking about fate when Duke survived UCF or when Duke, survived Virginia Tech. I don't think anybody was talking about fate then. But, of course, when it's us, it's back to fate, you know what I mean? So it's just it is what it is.
But I don't think that's a negative. I don't think it's a negative. I think it's just kind of where you came from to where you got to, right? And everybody's saying, like, you deserved it in a way because of what you went through. I think you felt like the country was pulling against you. Maybe I'm wrong. I think the country was pulling for you, Ty.
Yeah, no, I think the support we had in the Final Four was unreal. I mean, we had so much support, and you could feel it, and from our fans and all that, you can feel it, and we were so thankful for that. I don't know. I didn't really know who the country was pulling for, but the only game I really felt everyone, cheering against was that Gardner-Webb game down 14. You can feel the arena. You can feel every.
You were 2 hours from Gardner-Webb.
You gotta love that. You gotta love that. Gardner-Webb was there. Oklahoma fans were in there. I'm sure some Duke fans were in there. So you gotta love that. It's awesome, and that's what makes this journey so fun. A lot of people that root against you, a lot of people that root for you. It makes part of this so fun. You can tune out all you want, but that's trying to prove to people that believe in you right, and just focusing on that, and it makes it so much more fun.
Coolest text you've gotten after winning it all is from who? That's just like out there, like, wow, I can't believe this person just texted me.
I don't really know. I don't.
What about on Twitter? Anybody reach out that you were like, wow, this is cool? Like, nothing?
I mean, I'm not really like a fan of the NBA right now because I'm trying to go into it and trying to impact games this year. So I'm not really a fan of those players anymore. I'm more a learner of the game, student of the game. So I study those guys. So a lot of those guys reached out, but for me, it wasn't like, oh my God. It was more like, oh, that's nice of them to reach out, and they said, we're all here. We're here for you. If you have any questions about this process, and when you're in the NBA too. So that was cool. I thought it was really nice of them. I'm really thankful that they reached out, but I wasn't like, oh my God, like as a fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What have you been doing since? I mean, back in class every day now?
I'm actually leaving school on Saturday to go start the pre-draft process, but I've been in a few classes. I've been working out, been hanging out with my teammates and stuff. So just my last week of being at school, I've been trying to enjoy it all because I'm really gonna miss this place tremendously.
So what are you gonna do? Take like online classes, finish out this semester, and then you got a year left?
Exactly.
Go back. I assume your parents will kill you if you don't get your degree.
Oh yeah, and I'm definitely gonna get my degree as soon as possible. I'm took a few extra classes this year, so I have a little bit of head start on that.
So when I saw it initially that you were declaring, so many guys right now, everybody's declaring, right? Like, I mean, the number is going to break records. So when I'm seeing it for everybody, I'm like, all right, well, who knows who goes back, who doesn't. Everybody's kind of putting it out there like, I enjoyed my 2 years, 3 years. Obviously, some of those guys are going to come back. It does not appear from reading, from listening to you, that you have any intention of coming back to Virginia. Like, the door is fairly closed for you. Am I reading into that correctly or no?
Yeah, the door is completely closed. Like I said, I'm going to miss this place tremendously. I think Coach Bennett and the staff and everyone else around here has done a great job of preparing me for this. and just that my time here was amazing.
Why did you make that decision now, Ty? Was it just something where you felt like, hey, listen, I've accomplished everything I can, winning a national title, playing well on the biggest stage, all that you couldn't improve your draft stock any more than it already was?
Yeah, that's of course a big part of it. Where it is and being comfortable with your draft stock is definitely a piece of it. But it's also just you only get one shot at it. So I think you have to go when your draft stock's hot. You also have to be sure that you're ready to take this leap and understand how challenging it's going to be. So I think that it was just I don't think I know that it's the right time for me. I talked to my family. I talked to Coach Bennett about it. I talked to the coaching staff about it. And a few other people, and I know, and I thought about it a lot myself too. And once I was able to make that decision, I just wanted to go 2 feet in, and I know it's the right time to go chase this dream.
Already pick an agent, or are you working on that process now?
Will be done by Saturday morning, hopefully.
and then you'll go out and train somewhere warm, hopefully.
The location, the weather is, not a factor in that decision.
That's not very smart, Ty. Come on, you got to be smarter than that. You got to get warmth. You don't want to go to although it's at least the weather's breaking. Even here in Boston, even back home in New York for you, it's breaking a little bit. But I'd pick an agent based solely on. No, I'm just kidding. I was gonna say.
Yeah, no.
It would be a factor for me, though. As you get older, you learn, different things matter, however ridiculous that sounds, and weather is one of them. Minneapolis for the Final Four. I know you're going to have, those memories forever, but to me, New Orleans, San Antonio, Atlanta, I'm good. Just give me warm weather. Don't let me wear a coat.
Yeah, I love warm weather too. I do. But I love Minnesota forever too now. So
you should. Had you ever been before to Minneapolis?
No, first time.
Me either. It was actually a good city. I mean, I know you didn't get a chance to enjoy it. It was actually a pretty good city. Different, good, good spots to eat and everything like that. So the Mike Francesa call, was that prompted? Was that you? They arranged you doing that interview, I assume.
Yeah, so they reached out and asked if I'll go on the show. I said sure, and I thought it was pretty interesting.
It was fun. Did you grow up listening to Francesa at all, or not really?
I didn't, but
he was before your day.
I saw, he was before my day, but a bunch of people I know back in New York did, so. They were, I got a bunch of texts after I finished the show, and I guess after that, I knew how big of a deal he used to be, or he is in New York. I'm not sure. I don't really listen to radio like that, so I don't want to be disrespectful or anything like that. No,
he was a big deal. He and Mad Dog were huge. I'm sure your dad will tell you, probably when your dad was growing up. And now, listen, you were very, very entertaining in your own way throughout the NCAA tournament. Very different. It's funny because I thought about it. I'm like, the last time there was, I forget what year it was, we had Glenn Davis, Big Baby, and Joakim Noah the same year at the Final Four. And that was insane. I mean, those two together were like the greatest duo ever at the Final Four for me. You were different. You were very entertaining in your own way. And I thought all you guys, the one thing with you guys is you'll say it like it is. You're not going to say a ton of bulletin board material, but I think you especially will say it the way it is. And now you just got to, if Kyle comes back, you got to teach Kyle how to do that. I thought Kyle, a little too vanilla.
He is extremely respectful.
Yes.
And I try to be too, but he doesn't say that much BS or.
No,
I think
I'm kidding.
He has a different. But no, I'll definitely tell him. You gotta tell him how it is sometimes because sometimes they'll enjoy that, and sometimes you gotta get your message out there sometimes too, in a respectful manner, of course.
Yeah, I think you handled it well. I mean, I remember when you're in that room and you leaned over to, I forget who was moderating, and you're like, "Is that Pat Forde?" And I'm like, "Oh, what's he doing? What's he doing now?" And again, listen, I've had people do it to me all the time, and you know what? When I'm wrong, you deserve it. Like, I totally deserve it. If I'm wrong, I got no problem saying I screwed up. I'm sure I've said things about you probably when you were in AAU ball. I didn't think you'd be the player that you were. I didn't. I thought you'd be a really good player, but I didn't know you'd be this type of player. And same thing with Kyle.
I think one thing I learned is that it's never personal. You know what I mean? You guys have a job to do just like we do, so it's never personal. I don't take any of it personal. I appreciate, in a way, that's I guess I exceed expectation at this level. So that's the goal. I'm trying to be the best player you can possibly be. So that's great to hear.
Well, and you want to use that stuff as motivation, and I know you do as a chip. Why wouldn't you, right? I mean, that's
right.
To me, that everybody wants that, right? Everybody. I think, in every profession, you kind of want somebody to sometimes say you can't or you're not good enough. So it gives you a little bit more to work for, right?
In a way, yes, but like when I think people get it mixed up. Like when we won the championship, Stephen A. Smith wasn't on my mind. Somebody asked me about it, and that's how I responded.
Yeah.
So for me, I try to surround myself with people that believe in me.
Sure.
And prove them right, and to thrive off their belief. And I think, I know that's why being here in Virginia, that's why we were able to do what we did this year, and that's why I was able to succeed at this level as I did, because Coach Bennett really believed in me. It took time for me to become this player at this level, but he believed in me from day one, and we all believe in each other as teammates here. It's a family atmosphere. Like, that stuff is not BS. It's like a true family here. And so when you're surrounded with guys that believe in you and coaches, you're playing for coaches who believe in you, you can do things that, you never even thought you could.
No, listen, Tony Bennett is one of the best people that I've met ever doing this job. I'll say that to anybody. I know we're supposed to be objective, as reporters. It's hard to be objective. Now, with you guys as well, with how you handled yourselves and everything you went through, but same thing with Tony. Every time I tweeted something out this year, winning 4 of the last 6 ACC titles, you'd have people, his record over that span compared to Roy Williams and Mike Krzyzewski, all you'd have is fans coming back at me with, well, look at what he's done in the tournament. He sucks in the tournament. He hasn't done this. He hasn't done that. And I'm like, enough, people.
And the thing is, I'm sure now fans will be like, he only won 1 championship. So it's right. Those people never stop. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know how you deal with them on a daily basis.
That's where I give Tony a ton of credit. Like, I would go at, you see me on Twitter. I do go at people. Like, he doesn't. Like, he's way smarter than me. He's way better than me in terms of dealing with people. I enjoy it to some degree, and I think you do too a little bit. Not to the extent of me. You're smarter than I am, but I just think that poise that Tony Bennett has, I think it trickled down to you guys and how you played and how you handled yourselves this year. Other than that one dumb foul that you had.
Right? Oh no, of course. And that was the dumbest play I made in my basketball career.
It was incredible. Yeah. Like, I'm watching you. I'm like, did he just do that?
Yeah, the dumbest play I've made in my basketball career, and no lie, it almost cost us the Final Four. So, just so thankful it didn't. But that was the dumbest play I've made in my basketball career for sure. But other than that play, yeah, it's playing for Coach Bennett. It's pretty easy to be poised because he's so poised.
All right, last question. What does Virginia basketball look like next year? Who comes back? Like, just you're guessing. You don't know anything 100%. I know you don't know what Kyle's going to do. Obviously, we know DeAndre's gone. You're gone. What do you think this team looks like next year?
Right, so I have no idea what Kyle's going to do. I have no idea what Mommy's going to do. I wish the best for them, whatever they decide to do, of course. If Kyle comes back, you guys know how great he is. And if Mommy comes back, I think he'll blossom into a great player at this level. I think he'll show a lot more consistency. I think he'll have a lot more opportunity to do that next year. So I think if those two guys come back especially, I don't think there'll be a drop-off. I know there won't be a drop-off if those two guys come back. And then, of course, every year I can't imagine Virginia not being good. These coaches, they demand excellence, and we just put the work in, and they recruit guys who will do that. So, really no matter. And we also have guys that are ready for their turn. Kie Clark, he's going to run the show next year, and he's going to do a really good job at it. And Jay Huff has been waiting for his turn, and he's hungry, and he's super talented. And I'm missing people, of course.
Who are the guys who sat out? Like, who sat out this year? I didn't see those dudes. Who two international guys, I think, didn't play? Is that right?
So Cody Stabman, he's super talented offensively. He did some things in practice, so you're like, wow. So he has a chance to be good. Francisco Cafaro is the big man from Argentina, who also has a chance to be good. He's real physical. So, and of course, I'm forgetting Braxton Key. If he's more than likely coming back, and he's going to be if not the biggest piece of this team next year, and he's going to be play a huge role for that too. So, this team's not going to have a drop off. We got too many. Our coaches we basically work too hard. We might not win a national championship. It's hard to top that, and we might not win 30 plus games again. It's hard to do that too, but it's not going to be like, I can't ever see this team at the, not having a solid year.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Too much respect for Tony Bennett and the guys, the character, and I think again, listen, I think it started with, like the Malcolm Brogdons and those guys, and they just pass it down. And you guys kept it going, and we'll pass it down. And
100%.
Listen, I appreciate you jumping on. I know it's been a busy time for you since you got back. Congratulations again. Really, really kind of impressive. Everything that you've done. Again, not just on the court, but how you guys handled yourself. To me, was probably even more impressive than what you did on the court this year. And try to enjoy it until, I guess you get to work there for the NBA pre-draft, and I'll see you, I'm sure, in Chicago at the Combine.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.